Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me here today. My name is Anna Wutka, and I work for the University of Plymouth. I'm a regional manager at the University of Plymouth, and I would normally be out in Turkey visiting your beautiful country, chatting to you sort of in Ankara, in Izmir, in Istanbul. But unfortunately, as we all know, this is not really possible at the moment. So instead, we're doing things a little bit differently, and I invite you to my home office, and we're going to have a little bit of chat about the university and the courses that we offer today, this afternoon. A little bit of a word of warning. I've been told by the organizers that there have been some issues with the internet. So if I freeze, it is not because I have fallen asleep, but it might be that the internet has a bit of an issue. So please hang in there and stick with me. I'm sure it will be resolved in the course of this session. Another thing, a bit of housekeeping at the beginning. As you can see, a lot of you are already chatting, which is really nice. So you're obviously familiar with the use of the chat box. At the end of the session, you will have a chance to ask me any questions. So please use the chat box to put your questions in, and I will try to answer them then in order as they come in at the end of the session. And so without much further ado, I'm going to go over and start my presentation now. So if I could ask, perfect, my colleagues to enlarge the picture. Right, as I said, and as you can see here, my name is Anna, and I work for the University of Plymouth as in the international office. So what I will do today, what will we cover, it's very similar to what I did about a month ago when I had a similar session with IEFT in Turkey, where I start by introducing the university and telling you what courses we offer and highlighting those courses which are particularly interesting for our Turkish students. I will then talk about fees, scholarships, and living expenses. So I guess at that point, everyone will be really awake, because when money speaks, it tends to be very important. And then I will, of course, talk about what is happening here in Plymouth and on campus at the moment. What are our current students experiencing, and what do we think the campus will be looking like over the months to come? And then, as I said, last but not least, I will answer your questions as good as I can. Right. Before I go too much into detail about the university and the courses that we offer, I just want to bring to your attention a few facts about the university. We are what you call a modern university, which means that we received the full status of a university in 1992. But our education history goes way back over 150 years. So we have thousands and thousands and 10,000s of alumni all over the world. We have alumni in over 135 countries, which is quite remarkable for a university which is not right in the center of London. And I'll tell you a little bit about where we are in a minute. And we are very proud of having such an international group of alumni with us. We do consider ourselves, and the statistics prove it as well, that we are a very research-strong university. The reason why I'm putting the research in here is that even if you're studying at an undergraduate degree, whatever our professors and academics are researching in will inform what you are being taught. So we are traditionally ranked amongst the top 50 UK universities for research. And of course, there is more than just studying to your degree. You will have some free time, and there are currently over 160 different sport clubs and societies that you can join on campus, and there's basically something for everyone. to be able to switch off from your studies. Last but not least, one thing I want to point out on this slide is something that I'm very proud of, and that is that back 2 years ago, we were under the top 5 in the international category of the What Uni Student Choice Awards. Now, those are awards given by students based on their own experience and their own evaluation of their experience on campus. And we became, as I said, number 4 out of something like 160 different universities, which makes us very, very proud. And everyone who works in the international office, obviously, is very proud of this achievement. And what it basically tells you as potential international students is that our current and past international students are seemingly quite happy with the support that they get here at the University of Plymouth. Right, so whereabout are we? I mentioned our location a little bit earlier, and I do believe that every one of you will know where London is. This is normally where our students fly into when they come and join us on campus. So we've got London here. As I said, most of you will know where it is. And then you take the train, or you drive, or you take the bus. And normally between 3 and 3.5 hours, you would come down here to Plymouth. Now, Plymouth for the UK is a medium-sized city. We have about 300,000 people living in Plymouth, which of course, compared to your cities like Istanbul and Ankara, makes it a relatively small city indeed. But there are very much advantages of not being such a huge city. First of all, you don't have to fight the traffic constantly. My experience of being in Istanbul is normally being stuck in the back of a little yellow taxi, trying to get from one place to another. That is something you most of the time wouldn't experience here in Plymouth. Also, because we're not in London and quite far away from London, 3 hours away from London, our living costs tend to be much lower than anywhere which is closer to London, where people live and then commute into London for work. And another good news for those of you who are used to having a relatively mild climate, because we are here in the southwest, we tend to have a relatively mild climate all year long. So we don't get snow, we don't get normally freezing degrees. So it's quite a pleasant climate that we have. Plymouth has coined itself as the Britain's Ocean City, and I'm going to show you very briefly why that is. So here we go. This is a map of the university and of the city centre of Plymouth. Now, what you can see here in front of you, this is basically the city centre of Plymouth. And as you can see, it's all very nice and it's all very compact. And those red buildings here, they are all university buildings. So as I said earlier, we are a modern university, not only because of our age, but also because most of the buildings that we do have are purpose-built, which makes it a great place when it comes to facilities and the state-of-the-art facilities that we have here on campus. And then all you need to do is you walk from campus down here and you would be by the sea. Hence, as I said, Plymouth has, coined itself or named itself as Britain's Ocean City. So this is normally where we have our graduation ceremonies in the summer. And then if you look back here, again, 10 minutes walk is the campus of the university. If you go onto our website, you will find that link to the campus, and you can take a lot of time looking around and checking out what the campus is actually looking like. And here on the map again, as you can see, these pink areas is the campus, and this here is the city centre. So we truly are a city centre campus. Right. So what is it that our Turkish students are studying? We do have students joining us from all sort of walks of life. So we have undergraduate students, postgraduate students. We have normally a handful of doctor students, so PhD students with us as well. They do study a variety of programs, everything from psychology to logistics to maritime business. And also our graduates tend to do quite well once they graduate and go back into the country. We also always have a number of government-sponsored students with us. Of course, those students would normally be doing postgraduate degree again. They would be doing this as master students, but then as PhD students as well. So the university itself has three main faculties. I'm going to talk a little bit about each of the faculty and the courses that we offer, but I'm not going to go into detail about every single course that we have, because otherwise we would be sitting here tomorrow morning still. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight a few of the programs which traditionally tend to be of interest for our Turkish students. So the first faculty that we have is the Faculty of Science and Engineering. And within the Faculty of Science and Engineering, we have those 6 different subject areas or schools. First of all, we've got a School of Engineering, where you can find everything from civil, electrical, mechanical engineering. We also do robotics, which is very close to what you call in Turkey mechatronics. So that is something which is quite a bit of an interest for our Turkish students. And we offer all of those degree programs, both on undergraduate and postgraduate level. The next one is our School of Marine and Ocean Sciences. As I said, we were founded over 150 years ago, and we were actually founded as the Royal School of Navigation. So not only because of our location, but also because of our history and our tradition, we tend to be very, very strong in everything that is marine and ocean science related. We have one of the biggest marine institutes in Europe on campus, where we have over 2,000 students and staff studying something marine related, and all of our facilities that we have are really state-of-the-art and probably some of the best that you can get in the country. So we do marine biology, oceanography, but also things like marine conservation. Again, all of them are undergraduate and postgraduate level. The School of Computing Mathematics, of course, you can study either general computing sciences or you can study a mathematics degree. Mathematics you could do with in combination with business or with statistics, so not just pure maths, but also applied maths. And then we also have very specialized subjects in computer sciences. So you can choose to either do something quite general like computer sciences, or you can even on undergraduate level focus on something quite specific like cybersecurity, like games development or data modeling. It's completely up to you whether you already want to specialize on undergraduate level. Then we've got the School of Earth, Ocean, Geography and Environment. We have one of the longest running programs in environmental sciences in Plymouth. We started back in the beginning of the 1980s to offer a degree in environmental sciences, and which brings us up to makes it one of the oldest sort of environmental sciences degrees in the country. And of course, it's also being taught by incredibly enthusiastic academics. Biological sciences, as you can see here, we're doing everything from welfare to conservation biology. This doesn't tend to be quite so interesting for our Turkish students. We will talk about human biosciences in a second, which is being taught at a different school, which tends to be of more interest for our students from Turkey. And then we have chemistry as well. If you have any questions about any of those programs in specific, I would definitely say go onto the website and find out about the programs, but also feel free to send me an email afterwards. I'm going to give you my contact details at the end of this presentation. The next faculty that we've got is the Faculty of Arts, Humanities and Business. It is, as you can possibly guess, a huge faculty. And as I have tried here with the colors, is I try to organize the faculty into the arts, into the business, and into things like international relations, governments, and law. So the green boxes that you see are the different subject areas that we have in the arts. So we have performing arts, where you can do dance, acting, music. We have design and architecture. Architecture, both on undergraduate and postgraduate level, tends to be quite of interest for our Turkish students. And then we also have the School of Humanities, where you have subjects like history, publishing, English, creative writing being offered and taught at that school. The middle block of this slide, the purple colored boxes, are all the different areas that we teach in business. And similar to computer sciences, you can choose on undergraduate level and postgraduate level to either study something very general. So you would be studying something like a BSc in business management or a BSc in international business, or you can study something very specific, even from the first year of your studies. So you could be studying, for instance, a BSc in accounting and finance, or a BSc in financial economics, which of course is quite specialized in comparison to something like a BSc in business management. Again, all of those programs normally would be offered on postgraduate level as well. So they would have like an MA in human resource management, which is quite popular with our Turkish students, by the way. And then within the faculty, we also have programs like education, international relations, law, politics, and criminology. The last faculty, the third one, is our Faculty of Health. And the Faculty of Health has 5 different schools. The first one is the Biomedical Scientists. When I spoke about biology, I said that we do also have something like human biosciences, and that's something you would find in the School of Biomedical Sciences. So anyone who likes sciences very much and would like to go into any kind of medical research, that person would find a good number of undergraduate and postgraduate programs in our School of Biomedical Sciences. School of Health Professions offers all the different programs from optometry to dietetics, physiotherapy. So all the different health professions are represented in our School of Health Professions. The only thing, by the way, that we do not offer in our Faculty of Health is pharmacy, before you ask any questions. Medicine and dentistry, I'm going to come to in a second. I have an extra slide for that. Then we have the School of Nursing, where again, you can study on undergraduate and postgraduate degree. And you can also specialize in something like child nursing, mental nursing, or adult nursing. And last but not least, we have our School of Psychology, where we offer a number of undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. The most popular of all the psychology degrees that I have here on the list amongst our Turkish students is the MSc in Clinical Psychology. But of course, there are other programs that we offer as well. Just one additional slide to medicine and dentistry. The reason why I'm taking this out, because we automatically always get a good number of inquiries for both our medicine and dentistry courses. Now, I'm not going to tell you any news if I tell you that it is incredibly hard, competitive and expensive to study medicine and dentistry in the UK. We would normally expect you to have an international high school qualification, so the Turkish lise wouldn't be taken into consideration. So you must have studied either A-levels or the American high school system or the IB program. You also must sit an additional test, an admissions test, which is the UCAT test. And then to give you an idea of the prices, I'll talk about tuition fees in a minute, but the standard tuition fees at the university, you'll see that Here we're looking at the first 2 years of international fees for medicine, £21,500, which is a lot of money. And then the clinical years, which are the full-time, the last 3 years, we're looking at nearly £40,000 a year, which is a lot of money. And unfortunately, there are no scholarships available for either medicine or dentistry, and we only have very few places. So the reason why I put it up here is, as I said, any university that offers dentistry and medicine will always get questions about it, and that's why I had it here on a separate slide. Now, for all other degrees, we do on undergraduate level accept or consider, put it that way, a good lise. So if you're studying the Turkish high school diploma or certificate, and you're studying the right subjects as well at the right level, then we would consider you for first year entry. Some subjects will ask for a foundation. For instance, if you say, I want to do mechanical engineering, and you haven't got maths and physics at your chosen pathway, then you probably will be asked to do a foundation year, which is not a problem because it's taught at the university and you still are a University of Plymouth student. So it's definitely always worth checking whether a specific program accepts the lise or not. On postgraduate level, we make it dependent on what you study and where you study. So the offers that you will get would normally be between a 2.4 and a 3 from your bachelor's degree. And as I said, it depends on what you want to study, but also which university you've taken your first degree at. In addition, of course, you also have to have an English language qualification. An IELTS would be one option, but there are other options as well. And I'm going to talk about the other English language tests in a minute on another slide. And please do keep in mind that some programs, the arts programs, will ask for a portfolio, and also the health programs will ask for an interview and a higher IELTS score as well. Right, for those students who do not automatically come into the first year of studies, if we consider that if we believe you should be taking a foundation year, you will be automatically referred to our international college, which is on campus, as I said. So you wouldn't be rejected, but we would refer you to our international college. And the international college offers foundations more or less every subject area that we offer at degree level, with the exception of medicine, where we don't straight medicine and dentistry, where we don't have a foundation offer. So you can see anything from the arts, the architecture, to psychology, to nursing. We do have foundations in place for all of those. Those which I have put in red are also a preparation for your master degrees, because sometimes either you've got, especially if you got a too low GPA from your undergraduate degree, then we might offer you a pre-master program where we bring you up to scratch with your research skills and your writing skills. It's a 2 terms, so it's a 6 months program. And we have those pre-master programs in place in those subjects that I have marked in red here. Any information that you want about the foundation and the pre-masters, you should go to Plymouth International College. If you Google that, it will automatically come up. Right, as I said, now we're coming to the part where I'm very sure everyone will be awake, which is we are talking money matters here. So I'm going to talk first, I'm going to tell you first a little bit about the fees, the standard fees, and the living expenses, and then I'm going to give you some good news in that we actually do have scholarships available. So for 2021 entry, September 2021 entry, not January 2021 entry, we have the following fees in place. For undergraduate programs, they are £14,200. Undergraduate programs in the UK are normally 3-year programs. In Turkey, as you know, they are 4 years, and in the US, they are 4 years as well. In the UK, there are 3-year programs. So it is £14,200 that you're paying for your undergraduate degree per year at Plymouth. And that don't make a difference whether it is a classroom or lab-based program. We basically just have that one fee in place. On postgraduate level, we do make a difference between the engineering and the science degrees and the classroom-based programs. So the band 1 are the ones in arts, in humanities, in business, where we are asking you for £15,200, and band 2 is everything in our school and our Faculty of Science and Engineering. That is £1,000 more, so it's £16,200. That is for the entire master program, because our master programs are only 1 year, so they are 12 months programs. So when it comes to to budgeting for your studies, please keep in mind that we only have a 1-year master program. If you need a visa, you will need to prove that you have the money to support yourself. Not only that, you also have the money to pay your tuition fees, but also the money to support yourself during the first year of your studies. And the UKVI states that you must have £9,135 of the total sort of for the duration of the first year of your studies in your bank account. Now, I don't think I would be, I'm lying that if I say that hardly any of our students would actually spend that amount of money per year in Plymouth. I said in the beginning on the first or the second slide that Plymouth has one of the lowest living costs in the country. It is much more affordable to live and study in Plymouth than it is in most other cities of its kind in the UK. Our students, in reality, we are looking at between £650, £700 and £850 per month, including all the bills. So that's living costs, food, transportation, everything. But for UKVI purposes, as I said, we do, or you will need to show that you have the £9,135 in your accounts. Now, as I mentioned, there is some good news, and that's that we do have scholarships available. First of all, we don't have any full scholarships. Second of all, we don't have any country-specific scholarships. We have international scholarships, which are open to all of our international students, no matter where they come from, and all of our scholarships are merit-based. And one thing I would like to point out is that not all courses are offering these scholarships. So it is definitely worth checking on our website if the program that you are offering, that you want to study, is offering the scholarship. So we have an undergraduate, an automatic scholarship of £2,000. That is if you exceed your entry requirements. And then we have an academic excellence scholarship where you need to apply for, and that's if you're a truly outstanding student, then you can be awarded 50% of your tuition fees in year 1. And if you are maintaining your grades and you continue being an outstanding student, you also have the chance of receiving that scholarships in the subsequent years. On postgraduate level, again, we have an automatic scholarship of £2,000 and academic scholarships of 50%, which again you need to apply for. One other scholarship that I put on here, because each faculty, each school, each program decides if they want to offer their own scholarships. And our School of Psychology is offering their own scholarship. And there you would get £4,000 off automatically if you meet the entry requirements, which makes it a very competitive price. As I said, if you want any more information, do go on our website, please. Right, the reason why I put accommodations on here is because when it comes to living expenses, it will be your accommodation where you will be spending most of your money. So if you want to save any money anywhere in the UK on your living costs, it will most likely be when it comes to making your choices with regards to accommodation. Now in Plymouth, you can have either on-campus accommodation or off-campus accommodation. All the accommodation is 5 to 10 minutes walk from campus. So you normally don't need to take any public transport to get from where you live to where you are being taught, which is good news because, again, it's going to bring down the your living costs. Please keep in mind that in Plymouth, and like in most other universities, if you're choosing to live in a hall of residence, which is managed by the university, you will be spending slightly more than if you're living in off-campus accommodation. That is because you've got a cleaner coming in, cleaning the kitchen and the hallways. You have security guards, these kind of things. And so halls of residence tend to be slightly more expensive than private housing. And so average cost for a hall is between £100 and £150 per week, so between £400 and £600 per month, excluding food. But then if you look at the private housing, again, it's not that you would only be living with students. It's not like you're living in someone's private house. It is student houses, and you're sharing with students. But there, your monthly costs can be as low as £400 or even £350 per month, including all your bells, with the exception of food. Right, and this brings me to the last big part of my presentation, my chat here today, and that is what is happening at the moment. Now, I think we all agree that this year so far has been extraordinary in many respects. It has been a very strange year for the university as well. It has been a very strange year for our students, for our current students, and our past students who graduated from us this summer because they couldn't have a graduation ceremony. Basically, back in March, when the UK had its first lockdown, we moved all of our teaching online. Most of our students went home and followed their studies from their homes and took their exams at home, and even, unfortunately, had to graduate at home. Now, then came September, and of course, September marked the new year, the new academic year, the start. And we, as a university, tried to do everything possible to enable students as normal as possible study experience here at Plymouth. So, of course, we had to make sure that we are sticking to all the rules, to all the guidelines, to make sure that all of our teaching environment is safe. And so all my members, all the academics and the support staff on campus have been working incredibly hard over the summer to make this possible. So our classes did start in September, and they were offered, and they are still being offered as what we call blended learning. That means that some lectures are being taught online. So anything where you would have had a big group of students in a lecture hall, that is being recorded and is being taught online. And in addition to that, we have very small learning groups. What we also have enabled students to do is to remotely start their degree completely. So let's say if you are in Turkey and you weren't able to get a plane here to Plymouth because to the UK because the borders were still closed, then the students were able to completely start in their home country with the expectation that they will come here onto campus as soon as possible. You might have heard that the government has asked now all students to go home before Christmas. And so what we are now doing is we are phasing out the face-to-face teaching, and basically by the beginning of December, everything will be online. And we will have to see what the government guidelines is as from January onwards, because we don't know yet what's going to happen after the end of this year, unfortunately. So as I said, so at the moment, what we are doing is we're doing blended learning. We're doing lectures online and seminars and tutorials are in person. They tend to be very small groups, and they tend to have 2 meters distance between each of the students and the member of staff as well. So instead of having big rooms with lots of students, you will find that you still have big rooms, but much smaller number of students in those classes, which makes it quite an interesting study experience, I think, for our students. We also needed to make sure that, because you might remember that some of the IELTS centers were closed all across the globe. And so students starting with us in September couldn't take an IELTS. And so we had put into place a number of other tests that we accept, in addition to the long list of tests that we normally accept. So for 2020 entry, we have accepted the TOEFL Home Edition, but also the Duolingo Online, the IELTS Indicator, and we expect that we will be accepting this for 2021 as well. In fact, applicants are currently receiving sort of offers where it is stated that they can take one of those tests. We have also started offering some programs in January. Normally, our programs always start in September. But there is a number of programs where we said, okay, because a lot of students couldn't make it in September, we are also offering them as a start in January 2021. On the left-hand side here, those are all one-year top-up programs. So you would basically, those, you know, for students who've got an associate degree or something, and they want to do just a one-year top-up, that's what they can do in our business degrees. And we only offer top-up as such, standalone top-ups in business. And on the right-hand side, those are the postgraduate degrees that we offer with the January 2021 start. And knowing the traditional interest of our Turkish students, it is probably the ones here on the top, which are in the area of business that might be of interest for you. That list I can give to you if you want to at a later stage. Just send me an email and I can send you that list. Right, this brings me to the end of my presentation. So I thank you very much for listening. And I hope there's going to be a number of good questions waiting here for me. And so what I will do is I'm going to have to actually read through your questions and see that I am answering them. So there we go. So if you still have questions about anything that I have said, then please do put them into the chat box. So let me see if there are any questions. There's a lot of greetings, which is nice. Do we have aerospace engineering? No, unfortunately we don't. What we do have is the mechanical engineering, and one of the specializations in mechanical engineering that we have is composites. So if you want to go into aerospace engineering, this is probably the closest one that we have. I don't know if you're looking, Oma, if you're looking at undergraduate or postgraduate studies. On undergraduate level, there aren't many universities that offer aerospace engineering. You might find more programs on postgraduate level for the masters. So what I would recommend is, if you are looking for an undergraduate degree and you want to keep your options open, is that you're looking for a mechanical engineering degree, and then you do your specialization on postgraduate level. We've got the next question from Bilge. Can we stay here after graduation and look for a job? If yes, for how many years? Yes, that is a very good question, and I've got very good news in that about a year ago, the British government introduced what we call the post-study work visa, which means that when you graduate from a British university, either undergraduate or postgraduate, you are allowed to remain in the country for 2 years and seek employment over those 2 years. So this is, for someone who is in international recruitment, has been an absolutely fantastic development. Right, Birgit, there we go. It is great indeed. Do we have any other questions?
Anna, there are more questions in the questions tab.
Ah, in the questions tab. There we go. Sorry, Dong. It's been a long day. It's been, oh gosh, there's a lot of questions. Right. Yeah. Right. I start from the bottom. Can I continue my education there, or do I need to take a test again? Not quite sure. Hang on a second. I'm not quite sure what that refers to. So what's the admissions requirements to the university? The admissions requirements, Cedar, are different from program to program. What I try to tell you is that basically for both undergraduate and postgraduate programs, that each program has its own entry requirements. And you will need to, as long as you meet the entry requirements, you don't need to take a test. Also, if you are going into the foundation program, you don't need to take a test again. All you need to do is basically just progress, be successful, and then progress onto the first year. So I think this is what you have asked. If not, just ask me another questions later on. Another question, hello, master programs duration is 1 year, isn't it? Is there any master programs which includes internship? Yes, the master program is 1 year, you're absolutely correct. We have just started one of our business degrees will have the option of a 1 year placement. Most of, or all other master degrees don't have an integrated placement here. On undergraduate level, yes, but not on postgraduate level. But as I said, we do just started one on postgraduate in our business school. I can send you the details if you want. Do I have to provide IELTS score even if I graduate from university? It gives all lessons in English. Bilge, unfortunately, yes. Because even if the university, we say, yeah, it doesn't make any sense, you wouldn't need another IELTS score, you would get into trouble with the visa people because you basically need to show that you have an independent English language test. And because Turkey is not a country where English is the official language, that's why you can't be exempt from that. So unfortunately, even if you have been to Sabancı University or any other English language universities where English is the language that is being taught in, you will have to provide another English language test. I'm sorry, but most universities or all universities really should give you that answer. Do you offer a foundation program or do you have partner education providers? Now, I believe that obviously refers to our Plymouth International College. It is a Navitas college. So it is different to Kaplan, where you study just the foundation, and then you go into one of their partner universities. Our Navitas college is on campus, and students, 99% of the students that study at our partner college here on campus, it's an associated college, will then go on to study at Plymouth, which also means that if you are being offered a place on a foundation, you basically get a visa over the 4 years. So the 3 years, the 1 year of the foundation and the 3 years of your undergraduate degree. So it is not really a standalone partner college, but it's an associate college of the university. Mert asks how you can get scholarships by being an incredibly good student. This is how you get the scholarships. As I said, we have two options, either an automatic one, which is offered to you at the point that you apply if you exceed our entry requirements. That means if we say you must have for postgraduate a GPA of 2.8 and you get a 3, then you would automatically get the £2,000 scholarship. But if you find yourself that you are a student with a 3.5 from Istanbul University, then of course you should apply for the excellent scholarship, which is 50% of the tuition fees. Questions about the work permit. I think I've answered that already by saying that you are allowed to remain in the country for 2 years. We do accept the TOEFL, and in addition, we also accept the home edition. All the details about every single cutoff is on our website. So yes, we accept the normal TOEFL score, TOEFL test, but also the home edition test as well. Someone is asking, could you please give some tips for the essay that we need to submit? What kind of information should we include to make it a strong essay? Now, I believe if you're saying essay, that you are referring to an undergraduate program and you're thinking of the US system. In the UK, you do have to supply something which is called a personal statement. and you need to supply the personal statement both for undergraduate studies and for postgraduate studies as well. For undergraduate studies, you normally apply for up to 5 universities. For postgraduate studies, you normally apply on a one-to-one basis. The reason for saying this, because that will have an influence on the writing of your personal statement. So if you're applying for an undergraduate degree, first of all, as I said, you're applying for up to 5 universities. So one thing you shouldn't do is mention one specific university, because it's one essay or one statement for all of them. You should, there is whole books on how to write a personal statement. First of all, you have to think of as who is reading the personal statement. It tends to be an academic who is teaching the program, and that academic is making the decision whether you're being offered a place or not. So the academic wants to know that you're enthusiastic. They want to know that you have some basic knowledge of the program that you want to study, and they want to know everything else that you have done inside and outside of school that supports you as a candidate, as a student. So if you have won 100 medals in swimming, don't include it unless it actually has some impact on what you want to study. So if it made you a very competitive, driven, focused person, then yes, please include it in your personal statement. If it hasn't done anything for your personal development, leave it out. So whatever you put in your personal statement should be relevant to what you want to study. And that's also true for postgraduate studies. If you're applying for a postgraduate program, as I said, you're normally applying for on a one-to-one basis. So here you really should put into your statement that you know about the specific program taught at the University of Plymouth. So if you want to do international relations, our international relations will be very different, let's say from SOAS or from another university's international relations program. So read up on it and include things that you find particularly interesting about this specific program. And again, think about the fact that it is a place where you can really show your dedication and your fascination with the program that you want to study. But as I said, there is loads and loads of advice out there on how to write your personal statement. Could you tell us about master scholarships opportunities, please? I think I've done that already. It's the same for undergraduate studies. It's the £2,000 automatic and the 50% excellent scholarship. But as I said, do make sure when you go onto the website that the course that you want to study actually offers that scholarship. If you do not reach language requirement, do you offer pre-sessional English if we do not reach language requirement, Faisa? Yes, we do. We have pre-sessional English language courses that are anything between 2 weeks and 12 weeks. So depending on the level of IELTS that you have or the TOEFL tests, you can partake in either of those English language tests, English language pre-sessional courses. And in addition to that, even once you meet the English language requirements and once you are a registered student at the university, if you feel that you need specific support with a specific area of English language, then there is in-sessional English language support there as well. I have absolutely fantastic colleagues at the English Language Centre, and what they are doing in addition to the pre-sessional support, they're also doing in-sessional support for our students. The next question is, what are the chances and conditions for students from outside the EU to receive scholarships? Now, the scholarships that I've mentioned are for international students. So they are for students who pay the full international fee. So they weren't available for EU students because EU students would have paid a reduced fee until 2020. This, of course, is all changing now. So for those students who are paying a full international fee, those are the ones that are eligible for the scholarships, given the fact that they achieve the grades that we are looking for. The next question that we have is, are there any internship facilities for MBA programs? I think I mentioned that, I answered that already. MBA, by the way, we only offer as a part-time top-up. So we have master, we don't have an MBA as such, but we have a number of other master business programs at the university. Could you please inform us about the language requirements? I think it was on my slides, but I'm happy to say this again. If you're looking at the IELTS for undergraduate studies, for most of our degrees, we are looking for a 6.0, and you shouldn't have less than a 5.5 in each of the bands. For postgraduate studies, we're looking at a 6.5, and again, you should not have less than a 5.5 in each of the bands. Those entry requirements are different for medicine and for the health professions as well, where we look in for nursing, where we are looking for a 7, because here you are in patient contact right from the first day. And as I said, if you don't achieve the IELTS or the equivalent of an IELTS, then you can take one of our pre-sessional English language courses. Hesna is asking about housing opportunities on campus, off campus. Is it an affordable flats outside of campus? I think I've answered that question already in the course of my presentation. One of the things that I can say with hand on my heart is that thankfully students have a huge choice of accommodation in Plymouth. So it is not really what is it that is left for you, even if you come last minute, but there is such a great variety in choice there that you can be sure there will be something to meet your standards, something to meet your budget. So it is in that respect a very easy thing for students to do, is to find the right kind and affordable accommodation for them. And as a rule of thumb, with the exception of London, where, you know, halls of residence tend to be subsidized. Of course, private housing is so expensive. Off-campus accommodation tends to be cheaper than on-campus accommodation. So if you're coming to study with us for 3 or 4 years, and it comes to budgeting, keep in mind that first year you might be spending a bit more money because most students want to be on campus for the first year, and then the second and third year, it's going to be less. So if it is your parents paying, I'm sure they will be very happy about that news. Next question I need to get my crystal ball out for is because Birke is asking what the education is going to be like in 2021. Problem is I haven't got a crystal ball. All I can go by is what the situation is at the moment and the news that are coming out from the government. Now, our students will go home for Christmas and they will come back hopefully in January. And at the moment, there is no guidance from the government that students shouldn't return to their places of study in 2021. So hopefully we will see our students coming back in January, those who are continuing, but also the new starters. If the pandemic is getting worse and the government decides that students should not be taught face-to-face, then we will move, of course, our teaching to online teaching completely. We have done that in March where we only had very short time to do that. So if we do have to do that, please rest assured that it will still be a very, very good experience for our students, and it will be very efficient way of studying. So we basically need to see what's happening in the next month. And hopefully, if you're referring to September 2021, Birge, hopefully things will have returned to some kind of normality. The last question, oh no, it's not, there's another one there. Attila is asking, I graduated from a school in Turkey alongside my other college in the USA, which is that equivalent to in the UK? It very much depends, Attila, sort of what you want to study. So you can see my email, I hope, again there. And so if you are interested in studying at Plymouth, you would need to look at your high school certificate. There we go. Thank you very much. We would need to look at your high school certificate, at your grades that you have achieved. and then we'll, and then we need to take it from there. Because as I said, every application is looked at individually, so we need to actually see the transcripts and also need to know which program you want to apply for in order to be able to say yes or no. And this is now, as I can see, the last question from Eslim. Is it possible to do a research in biomedical science first and then apply a master program? If yes, what are the steps? Eslim, I'm slightly confused because a research degree normally comes after an undergraduate degree. So normally what you would do is you do your undergraduate degree, which is a bachelor's degree, and the last year of your bachelor's degree will have a research element in it. And then you decide if you want to go for postgraduate studies. And there you have the choice between a taught master program or a research master program. Those students who see themselves going into academia, so who see themselves working at an institute or at the university in the future, they would probably go for the research masters, which also then might lead to a PhD. And oh, there we go, Eslim, I have my undergraduate degree. So Eslim, basically, it very much depends what you want to do. If you want to go and do your PhD, then my recommendation would be is that you're doing a master research masters. If you just want to get a master degree under your belt in order to have, better job prospects or to keep your option open for the future and maybe at some future stage to do more research, then to do a normal PhD, taught master program. It very much depends on where you see yourself in the future. But you can, you can do a research masters or masters through research and decide at the end, you know what, I don't want to do research, that's fine, you still have your masters, but you can at the same time do a taught master degree and then decide after that year, you know what, I really like the research parts of it and I want to go and pursue a PhD. So one doesn't exclude the other, but start with that where you think you want to head into the direction too. Birsen is asking, is there any sports scholarships for students who are interested in one of the sport fields? We have some sports scholarships available for students who compete on international level, but we are not a US-American university where sports scholarships are very, very generous. So unfortunately, the only sports scholarships that we have is in form of partial scholarship and normally as a contribution towards the costs that you have in order to pursue your sports here in the UK. So unfortunately, that is not a very positive answer for you there. But as I said, there's a few scholarships are around, but all of them would be partial. Right, this brings me more or less to 3 o'clock my time. I would very, very much recommend that you take down my email address, which is awoodker@plymouth.ac.uk. If you heard anything in that presentation today where you would like any more information about, send me an email and I'll reply to you as soon as possible with the information that you want. Go on our website, check out the things that I've talked about, check out the different programs. And if you then want to have more information, again, send me an email. And I'm more than happy to, be your first point of contact here at the university. It is now, what time is it now in Turkey? I think is it 7 o'clock?
Yes, it's 7 p.m.
It's 7 o'clock. Okay, so it's dinner time. It's dinner time in Turkey, and coffee time here in England. So yes, unless there are any more questions, I'd say we sort of finish the session here today. I want to thank you who participated very much for your patience and for listening to me and for your very good questions that you have raised. They were really good questions. And as I said, if you want any more information, stay in contact, send me an email. And also I would like to thank the organizers from IEFT to once again organize a fantastic session.
Thank you very much for your very nice comments. Anna, is it possible to share your contact details in the chat box as well?
Of course. Sorry, I'll put it in the chat box. Yeah. So. There we go. I'll just send that to everyone, I think.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Okay.
We received many questions and you covered all of them, so it was amazing. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much indeed. Goodbye to Turkey, and hopefully I'll see you again at some stage in Turkey.
We hope so. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.